Hi there, my name's Vince from My Mate Vince, and in this video today we're going to try to fix up this Xbox steering wheel. We have the accelerator and brake down there as well. Bought it from eBay a long time ago, can't remember how much I paid for it. I will flash that up on screen, but basically the problem is when we connect it to the Xbox, and we're on Forza Horizon 4 here, you can accelerate and brake, loads of the buttons do work, but right and left steering doesn't seem to do anything. So now we're steering completely left, and if you accelerate then, if you have a look now, it's not moving left. If anything, it's moving slightly to the right. And when we do right, it's not moving right. It's just moving ever so slightly to the right, which it always does. Now, if we go into the settings, it does look like it's trying to map it, but it's trying to map it as left steering as far as I can see. Right, watch this. Remap steer left. So if we steer right away to the left, it does come up with LS left, yeah? But now watch this, let's go down to the one below and try to map LS right, which is left stick right. And now if we go right to the very right, you can see here, remap right. But now look, it comes up as left, but it's saying non-assigned for now steer left. So basically, whether you go left or right, it seems to be doing the same thing, but yet on the game, it doesn't seem to be doing anything. So let's take it apart and let's see if it becomes obvious when I take it apart what the problem might be. Okay, so it's got a little kind of breakaway lead, the same as the original Xbox. And Xbox 360, did that have that? I think it might have. Let's undo this. So there's nothing wrong with the accelerator and the brake. Now I'm pretty sure the original listing said it wasn't working in one direction. Just then it looked like it wasn't working in either direction, yet it was being recognised as LS. So left stick. Right, I can see screws here. I can also see lots of kind of hex key, Allen keys, but I'm not sure if they are just for show or whether you need to undo them. That's very dirty if I do get this working. It looks like, it's kind of weird. It actually looks like dried in mud which has been brushed off. So either it's had an awful lot of use and the person was quite dirty, or maybe it's been dumped somewhere and then it's been found in a skip and sold on. Looking at the top of it there, you could say it's one of those dodgy restoration videos that you see. Not the real ones, but you know, the fake ones. Because they all have that brown mud on them. Right, okay. Well, that's undone to begin with, but that looks like it's just a sensor. Would that be a little IR sensor like the original Xbox controllers had? They've done away with them now, but you used to be able to sync them up by putting them up to the Kinect, which is the thing you had on top of the telly. Right, so I suppose, is it going to be something wrong with the actual input side of things, or is it going to be something wrong with the board not registering it? This board looks very clean, so I say it's probably more an input thing. How does this input thing work? Let's see if we can work it out. Well, interestingly, that's very simple. This is why I like taking things apart. So you can really feel resistance wanting to throw the wheel back. You can see there how much it's going back. And I was wondering sort of like, how does it do that? Is it springs? But it's not. It's just a kind of little bungee cord here. Have a look. So you see it's a bungee cord here with some hot glue. And then it just goes around here, this bit here, underneath, up here, and over to here. So you're just stretching the bungee cord on these, but there is little rotating wheels just here. So those wheels do rotate, you see. And the other side. So really simple, but you know what? It does give a very nice feeling. Now, it could be a problem in here, but when I tried some of these buttons, they do appear to be working. I don't know if all the buttons are working. We also have a couple of buttons hidden just here and also here. But look here. When I turn left and right, it's doing something here, isn't it? So I should be able to, oh, I just seen what it is. Look, yellow wire, broken. Okay, let's use a bit of IPA, take off this hot glue here, and then it should be just a case of soldering back on. That was nice and straightforward. I wonder, is that the only fault? Hopefully we might be able to measure between the two like a kind of potentiometer type thing. I wonder whether that will give us a reading. Right, I'm using IPA because it takes off it's kind of, it's weird. It gets underneath it and it makes it slippery and it just comes off in a big lump. It's really nice. Because if I tried to pick that off now, it'd be really hard. But watch this. Let's just dab some of this all over it. And now, let me get a tweezer. Watch how easy this is going to come off. So I'm going to start on one side. See? Didn't come off in one lump, but it still came off easy. There you go. Really, really easy. I can reuse that as well. Right, so, oh, that one's broken now as well. That one's broken as well. So let's get the soldering iron on and let's strip back these wires. Oh, they're all off now. I have to remember that the black's in the middle and the yellow is on the right hand side. So while I'm soldering up these 3 wires, have you noticed my thumbnail on this video? Super boring and just black and white. You might think I've been lazy. I haven't. I've done it for a reason. I want to look back on this video in about a year to see whether it's got more or less views than a standard My Mate Vince style video. The reason being is because everybody thinks that a thumbnail has to be super colourful and have like a shocked face on, because it's going to be more clickable. And I fully agree. Years ago, they definitely were more clickable. But now everybody's doing them. Would it be more clickable to just have a boring black and white thumbnail in the middle of a sea of colour? And I'm thinking it might well be. So that's why I've done it, to see whether a boring thumbnail will end up, weirdly, getting more clicks than a really colourful, clickable thumbnail. So yeah, that's it. Anyway, My Mate Vince Massive Time. The members this month are kitdigital.com, Kip Hakes, Max Rokotansky, Having Fun Repairs, Edensburg Amplifier Repair and Service, Will Michaelis, Chris Seal, Felipe at MrKeebs.com, King Kurd from Lowbrook Auto Sales, DJVG, Edis Garbett, Pigsy, Kenneth Blenstrop Sorensen, Gabe McCandless, Extreme 401, Robert from Timsey's Auto Air, and Daniel Watson. Thank you so much, guys. Hopefully now I should just about be finished with this soldering and we can test it with the multimeter to see if we are actually getting a reading when we turn the steering wheel left and when we turn the steering wheel right. Let's find out. So I presume it's going to be black to either side. So no, we're not getting any reading. Oh, we are there, between there and there. But not between the black one. Do you know what, just out of curiosity, I'm going to undo these 2 screws. I want to see what sort of setup it is. Well, that's not really doing anything there. That's just there to hold it in place. I think it's just like a normal potentiometer. Why are we not getting a reading? Yeah, so it's kind of got a flat side and curves, so it can only go in the one way. Right, let's, I mean, my soldering's okay there. I wonder why it's not giving us a reading. I was wondering, was it done in some weird other way, like some kind of fancy Hall effect sensor? But I don't think it is. Right, well it is actually giving us a reading there, but it's in the meg ohms, which is strange. That doesn't seem to relate much to when I turn it. Right, I'm beginning to think now that although those wires were broken, that might not be the fault. I'm wondering whether this thing itself is faulty. Do you know what? I'm going to put it back together, but I don't think it's going to work. I think this thing here has failed. Right, surprise, surprise, it's not working. I've moved room because my son was playing with his friends on the Series X, so I'm just on the Xbox One S here. He is still here with me now, actually. He's stopped playing. But if we accelerate, it accelerates and reverses just fine. So that's accelerate, and then if we brake and reverse, so we're still doing that like before. Yeah. But check this out. If I get the steering wheel and go fully to the right, you can see that now. I can't show you both at the same time, but just believe me that I'm fully to the right and it's not doing anything. And if I was to go fully to the left, like that, it's still not doing anything. So I think that potentiometer is definitely at fault. It looked like there was 4 tiny little posts on it, so I might be able to take that apart. I might actually be able to fix the potentiometer. Let's give it a go. Right, let's zoom right in on this and see if we can work out what's going on. Right, 103, 230. So is that the range it should go between? 103 ohms to 230. Let's see if we can prise this open. So I'm going to have to get a blade and cut through them. And it's like, you know what? No. If I could squish them a bit, then I'd have a chance to flatten them back off with the soldering iron, wouldn't I? Now, maybe these are available to buy. I'll have to have a little check on eBay. Just got a bit of glue on this side. Yeah, there we go. Excellent. Yeah, it's just a potentiometer. Oh, that doesn't look too clever. What is that? Let's have a look at this here. Yeah, so that is just a potentiometer. So what's happening here? We've got a track here, one here, one here. I thought this was the trace here, the brown bit. It's not. It's here, here, and this is like the, you know, the wiper in the middle. Hold on. So these two would be on the middle, is that right? This one here and this one here, and this one on the edge. I think something's been spilt in here. Are they the remains? They're the remains of the tracks there. How's this happened? Well, that's interesting. Look here. That one hasn't got an edge bit there. I wonder, has it broken? Or has it, did it never have it? I would say it should be there. I wonder how different these are from normal potentiometers. When could I make one up with a normal one by pushing this through and clipping it onto here? Maybe it's just this shaft which is different. Well, will you look at that? I've just looked on Google and it looks like you can get one on eBay for £2.89. You can get 2 of them for £3.90, so obviously they must be known to fail, and they're nice and cheap. Yeah, and that does say for Thrustmaster 458 Spider. It's not really worth trying to fix what we have when you can buy one so cheap, but I will just have a quick try. Okay, what we have here is a thumbstick from an actual Xbox controller, but this is a proper OEM part made in Japan, an Alps manufactured one, so it's a good quality one, but obviously it's for a thumbstick, not a steering wheel. But let's see how similar they are if I can somehow use this and replace the broken one that's in the Thrustmaster steering wheel. Obviously I already had this part, I didn't buy this part, otherwise I would have just bought the proper part for the steering wheel. Right, so now, well, that pretty much looks the same, and we've got 3 wires sticking out. So let's prise it off. I wonder if this is going to be the same, there's no markings on it, is it? I wonder whether it's going to be the same resistance. Here we go. Now, so we're going to have to pop this middle section out. There we go. Now, is this the same as this? Yeah, look, should have 2 little arms here. There's only one harm here. So do you know what's happened here? I think I now know. One of the metal bits broke, probably through wear, maybe forcing it a bit too much or just wore from fatigue. And then because it's no longer a nice flat bit of metal, it's like a shard of metal, it's like an edge of metal, it's completely worn away this inner ring here. Because if you look here, we should have, let's zoom in, you can clearly see that we've got an inner and an outer, while on this one we can only see the outer. Inner and outer, while here we've got the outer, but we haven't got the inner anymore, it's worn away. Yeah, okay. And I wonder, hold on now. Thing is, I'm not going to know which side was what. Yeah, well, it should be that way, shouldn't it? Yeah, it should be this way with that bumpy bit at the top. Otherwise, the bumpy bit's going to be where, you know, where it's hitting the wiper in the middle there. And if you have a look, this is the side which is broken, the right-hand side. So when we flip it over, it becomes the left-hand side. And it's this left-hand side which is worn more. Look at this here. Can you see? I think anyway. Right, let's see if that's the same as this. Yes, it is. So, how easy or hard? I bet these don't pop off very easy. Because again, we have these melted bits here, don't we? So I crushed the post to take off the faulty wiper, and then I cut the post off the good one, as that plastic is not needed and I want to cause as little damage as possible to the actual metal wiper. That's come off lovely and easy. That isn't going to match that, is it? Holes are in different position. Do you know what? I don't really think this is viable. Because I need this one to go on here, you see, and they're completely different, look. I think I might be wasting my time because the holes are even in a different position, look. See the holes there and there, they're different. And I need this backing thing, don't I? Unless I could take, can I take the circuit, the actual circuit out and put it in here? How do they come in and out? No, they're all moulded in. Okay, so you can see clearly that these parts are not interchangeable, but I've come this far in the video that I would like to see whether or not I can get the Alps one working in this Thrustmaster steering wheel. Part of me also wonders whether the Alps one would be better, because maybe the wiper and the carbon tracks are better in the Alps one than the Thrustmaster one. I do not know that. But I do know, maybe they might be worse, but I do know that when you buy different sticks off eBay, some will perform better or worse than others, because sometimes the cheap ones haven't got the same amount of cycles before they fail as the proper ones. Also, I've had it where when you put a cheap one in an Xbox controller, when you go to do the thumbstick on testing software, it seems to reach 100% very quickly, while on the real ones it takes the whole range of the thumbstick to reach the limit of 100% movement. So yeah, I'm intrigued to know what this Alps one will do in the steering wheel. Maybe it's going to be too sensitive, maybe it won't be sensitive enough. But that's what I'm doing in this section here. I have to hand drill some new little holes because the holes don't line up, and then I've got to get the soldering iron. I've got to all melt it together because it's not, you know, it's not clipping together like the original one should. So nobody would actually be doing this. Remember, it is just a video, and I can buy the part for £2.50. So yeah, what you're seeing now is that process, and now let's test it with the multimeter to see now if we have the resistance range that we didn't have before. Right, so it's not as smooth as it was before, but I'm thinking when you've got the weight of the wheel behind it, I don't think you'll feel any difference whatsoever. So this looks like it's in the halfway mark, so let's see what it's reading now. So it's reading 6,000 ohms, so let's go this side. 7.1 thousand ohms, okay. Now let's move it all the way to the left here. Right, now we're at 1,000 ohms, and this side is 11,000 ohms. So now, is that a completely different resistance than this one here? Well, mind you, if it is 103, could that be like a resistor where that means it's 10,000? 10,000. So would it be 23 ohms to 10,000 ohms? No, that doesn't sound right, does it? What was it, this one here? 11,000, it might be, you know. That might actually be okay. I think, because I've melted them together now, so that's not gonna come off. I mean, it looks horrible. And remember, it's all strapped in as well. I think I'm going to run with that just to see if it does work. I think either way, I'm probably going to buy up the eBay one anyway because it's so easy to change over and it's so cheap. But for the purpose of the video, it's quite nice to try to get something working. Okay, so that's that bit in, but remember this bit's still going to wobble around, hence the reason why you have this bit here. So it all makes sense now, and that stops the potentiometer from moving around when this is locked into place. When it's screwed in, you can see now the potentiometer is not moving. Oh, and I wondered why they had red paint on this. Think about it. It's not going to be centralised, is it? See what I mean? If that's not perfect, then it could be drifting off to the right or left. So I'm actually going to have to try to adjust these screws because, yeah, see, this is what's good about trying to fix stuff. You see here, it's oblong. Look at this hole, look at this hole here. It's not round, it's oblong. Because we need to get it perfect. Otherwise, if it's a slight bit off, it's going to be drifting to the left or right. So this is how you adjust a little bit of drift. I suppose actually you could do this. Could you not do this with the by looking at resistance? Yeah, and that's why the paint's on it, so it stays in position. Let's see if we can do this with resistance. So we need it to be the same on both sides, I presume. I presume it's linear and not logarithmic or whatever it's called. Right, so 6,250. 5,000. So it needs to go, if I went this way, let me just see which way it needs to go. Less, so it needs to go more that way. Hold on now. So if it needs to go that way, does it need to move more this way? Let's see what that's reading. Now we're closer. 6.1. Remember, it's going to have reduced here now. Oh, 6.3. I'd say we're nearly there. I hope the wheel's not turning. I'm going to lift the wheel off the desk. I think I might leave it at that, you know. I can't see that making any difference in the real world. Right, I'm going to leave it at that. So that's 6,300 and 6,300. And this is 6,280-ish, 70-ish. It's probably, you know what, it's probably me putting pressure on here that's making a difference. Let's do it very lightly. Yeah, I'm calling it that. So what's that, about 100 ohms in the difference? Right, let's try to do these up as tight as I can without moving anything. Well, really, they are pretty tight. I'm just going to put glue on them now. Okay, so when it's on it now, that's 6,000 ohms that side, and this side is 6.1. I wonder, does it center though? So let's have a look. So we have 10 there. There. So it's probably going to make big differences just where it centers. So it can't actually be that sensitive, can it? Yeah, it seems to vary by a couple of hundred just on the centering. Right, I think that's going to work. Unless, of course, it's like super sensitive because the original one might be a different rating. Not too sure. I don't think it is, though. Okay, right, so we haven't tested it yet. You can see it says controller disconnected. So hit the Xbox button down here. That's it. And now, oh no, actually press B. Alright. Press A. Oh, here we go. Right, okay. Now let's see if it's going to work. So accelerate. Oh, look at that. Oh, yes, here we go. So let me see if I can get it in to picture both of them. And slow down and see if it's doing full turns. I know it's hard when it's on your lap. It doesn't matter if you're off-road. And the other way. Yeah, and on the accelerator, just do it a little bit just to see if it can go slow. All right. Yeah, perfect. Right, okay, what we're going to do is try to get this set up properly with the clamp. It's going to be a bit awkward on here, but maybe if I undo this here, we can get it set up there. And then I'll let my son have a little mess around with it for a bit and see if he can actually manage it, because on the controller he's pretty good. So let's see if those skills can transfer to there. But fantastic. It appears to be working. Whether it's working as good as one with a proper potentiometer in, I don't know, but I don't know. It seems to be turning okay. Ben, 1 second, let's just try this. Try to go forward, just turn it a little bit.
Right, let me get on the road.
Yeah.
It's very hard car.
Maybe we need to use a slower car, maybe.
It's the fastest car in the game.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Right, okay, so just get on the road and now just tap the accelerator.
Ready?
Yeah. And just tiny turns, tiny, and the other way. Tiny turns. Even less turns.
Alright.
As if it's a real car.
Yeah. Like that?
Yeah. Now go in a straight line and see, let go of the wheel. Is it going in a straight line? Yes, it is. Excellent. Right, okay, we'll get back to this in a bit. Okay, Ben's been messing around with it for about half an hour and he's starting to get there now. So I wasn't sure if the paddles were working, but if we go into the settings and then watch this, you can move around there using the paddles and down. There, so that's definitely working. But at this moment in time, it is on automatic because he's not used to changing gears yet. But he's starting to get his drift skills back on point. That was a nice one. And it appears to be working okay. I think there's a way you can adjust sensitivity on this. So if it's, because it is quite sensitive now, I don't know if it's supposed to be like that or whether that's the potentiometer. But there you go. I know I say it in most of my videos, but I did enjoy that one there, more so than just replacing the part, because I thought it was quite nice messing around trying to get the middle point, you know, trying to calibrate it. So yeah, failed because of a potentiometer, and I think it's just failed because that metal bit snapped off and then wore away the inner trace and then it became broken. But I can tell that this has had quite a bit of use, so it's probably had its life already, but hopefully now it might get a little bit of a longer life. Okay, it's actually about 3 weeks later now. I never got round to releasing a video, and about a week after I fixed it, Ben was actually playing with it every single day. He quite likes it. It started to drift again. Not really a big deal because you have your hand on the steering wheel anyway, so it's not kind of like a, I don't know, it's this drift on a steering wheel isn't as bad as drift on an actual controller, because you can just kind of rest your arms just slightly like that, you know, just hold the wheel slightly off center, but it's not ideal. I thought fixing it might have actually worked long term, but no, in the way I did it, didn't last long. So I bought this one off eBay. It costs very little. I think it was £3 including delivery, so it wasn't expensive. I'm just going to fit this one now, and the steering wheel will continue to work just like it did when it was new, until of course this fails again. But at least we now know it's nice and easy to change over, and it's nice and cheap to do as well. Yeah, so in this instance, it's not worth fixing it. Just go out and buy a new one for the £3, and then your steering will work fine again. There's no point in me filming it. You've seen me mess around with it earlier on. You can see how easy it is to do. We just have to unsolder the 3 wires, solder these 3 in again, and screw it all into place, and it will be job done. I just wanted to update you on the actual outcome longer term. So there we have it. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a massive thumbs up, and I'll roll credits now while showing a bit of gameplay. Thanks for watching, everybody.